Hi, I'm James Bosenberg from Runner. This is Devon Coetzee, and today we're here at Constantia Greenbelt to discuss the transition between road running and trail running.
So the first question that we received is, if I run a 10 kilometer in 40 minutes on the road, how long will it take to run that same distance on the trail? Now, the simple answer is it will take longer, and that is due to a couple reasons, namely the severity of the gradient found on trails. You're running up a lot steeper inclines, and again that is followed by very steep technical descents. Secondly, the more technical the trail, the more boulders, the more sticks, the more roots, the more vegetation, the longer it will take you to complete that same distance. So in a nutshell, you can expect to take probably about 30% longer on a trail, but all dependent on the gradient and the technicality. The next question is, why do they say that trail running is better for you than road running? And when we look at this, we look at the joint impact scenario. There are three reasons why trail running reduces the impacts on your joints. Firstly, the stride variability on the trail is much higher, meaning every step you take is different from the one before. Whereas running on the road, all the steps are almost exactly the same. And that impacts the joints in the same spot every single time. Secondly, the surfaces you run on when running on a trail, believe it or not, are a lot softer, even if they don't feel like it when you're running. And finally, the last reason why the joint impacts are so much less when trail running is that impacts are a function of speed. So when you're running on the road, you do tend to run a lot faster, meaning your joints experience a lot greater forces, whereas on the trail, you tend to run slower, meaning you alleviate that joint impact.
The next question is, will there be any water stations en route? And primarily, no. Trail running in essence is wild running. You're running in nature, you're running in places where it's difficult to get to. We want people to think for themselves, we want people to be self-sufficient so that if they do get stuck, if they do fall and injure themselves, quite often they're on the trail by themselves for a long time without help, and they're going to need to be self-sufficient. The second main reason for not having water stations en route is an environmental issue. You know, a lot of the time we're running in nature reserves, we're running in private game parks, and of course we don't want anything to be left out there on the trail.
So the next question is, do I really need trail shoes, or can I do some trail running in my road running shoes? Now, most people when they transition to running on the trails, they do it in their road running shoes. And for that purpose, it is fine, because you get to experience what trail running is all about. But it is not until you've actually worn trail running shoes where you can see why they're so effective in that terrain. And this is for two reasons. Firstly, they have the protection under the foot and on the toe guard in the front, so you don't have to worry about stepping on sharp rocks or kicking roots. And secondly, they have much greater grip than what you would find in a road running shoe, and that gives you more trust in the trail. So when you do start off trail running, it is fine to experiment with your road running shoes, but the sooner you buy trail running shoes, the sooner you will start to enjoy what the trail running has to offer. So the next question is, how will I know where I'm going on a trail race? When you come to an intersection, there will always be a sign showing you which way to go, and more often than not, showing you where you shouldn't go. So as long as you have good visibility at intersections, it is pretty easy to follow the directions of that trail.
The next question we get is, why is trail running so much more expensive than road running? A lot of our runs are in private reserves, or in sand parks or Cape Nature property that require a per person fee straight off the bat. Another reason is trail running occurs in wilderness locations that require specialized services, specialized suppliers to come in and execute what they need to.
The next question that we were asked is, why do trail runners use so much gear, and is it actually relevant? Definitely. Reason being is when you're out on the trails, you are not supported by medical services every step of the way. Therefore, if something does go wrong, you need all the safety equipment to take care of the situation. Secondly, you are self-supported in terms of food and water. Like we said, there's no water tables, so when running, you need to have everything on you the entire way. Two pieces of equipment that are vital when trail running are a whistle and a space blanket. Whistle being to notify any other hikers or runners around you that something has happened, and in order to indicate this, it is 6 sharp, concise blows, that is the SOS signal with the whistle, and a space blanket in case you do have to spend overnight or you're in very, very cold conditions. In addition, if something does go wrong on the trail, it's very important to assess the situation and to figure out your best options, and always carry a cell phone so you can notify someone where you are and what has happened. So the final thing that needs to be said when transitioning from a road runner to a trail runner is trail running etiquette. What this means is that you need to be very aware of your surroundings and as well as your fellow trail runners. So when running with an iPod, keep it on a very low level so you can hear someone coming up behind you whether they want to pass. No littering, and just looking after the environment that you are so lucky to enjoy whilst taking part in an activity that you love.